Morning. Apologies for the late start. We'll get started straight away now. So I'm going to share my screen. So we're looking at writing today. The writing part of the English functional skills. So I will share my screen with you. Okay, so okay, so can you see the NCFE logo at the top of this page? I want to make sure that you can see the correct share. So give me a thumbs up, or if you can just unmute yourself and say yes if you can see that. So Limon or Walla, can you see the NCFE test paper on your screen?
Yeah.
Yeah, brilliant. Okay, thank you. Sorry, I'll just put my phone on mute. So this is the test paper. As I've mentioned at each session, you will be doing an online assessment, but it does time out if I do the practice one. So I'm going to use a Word document to show you the example today. So let's have a look at the first pages of the paper, and this information will also be given to you when you do the online assessment, and it tells you a little bit about what the assessment is about. And it tells you about the marks as well, an email and an article, half marks each, 22 marks each. So you need to spend half an hour on each of them. It also explains that 41% of the marks are for evidence of accurate spelling, punctuation and grammar. So it's not necessarily about the content, what you write, but how you write it and your spelling, punctuation and grammar. So it suggests 10 minutes overall for reading, planning and proofreading, allowing you 25 minutes for each of the activities. So let's have a look at activity 1. Write an email. A website is running a competition. I'm just going to make that a bit bigger for you. A website is running a competition to win the ultimate street party for your family, friends and neighbours. The website will organise the party and pay for food, drinks and entertainment for up to 300 people. Write an email explaining why your street deserves to win the party. In your email, you could also include suggestions for food, drinks and entertainment. And it's given you the email address. So it tells you there what you need to include. So make sure that you include those. So let's have a look at the mark scheme. And that, obviously on the day of your test, you will not be looking at this, but this will help us understand what we need to do. So the marking guidance for activity 1, the email. So we want to look at the 4 marks part of the mark scheme, because this tells us how we'll get maximum marks. Our answer is detailed and it communicates the information and ideas and opinions clearly, coherently and effectively. It fully meets the needs of the purpose and audience. So we know how to write our email. We're conscious of the audience who is going to be reading it. So we need some structure, clear and effective structure, and an appropriate format for an email, which is our text type. So beginning, middle, end, and we need to include those parts as well. And we want to be using the language and register which is fully suited to the audience and purpose. Our organisation should be paragraphs and using them appropriately. Our sentences should be a mixture of complex and simple, mostly complex, because that is how if you are writing naturally, most of your sentences will be complex and they should be constructed well. Okay. And there's marks for spelling, so make sure we're using some ambitious vocabulary, not just simple words. And punctuation, we want a variety of punctuation. So it suggests there colons, commas, inverted commas, apostrophes and quotation marks. Obviously, it will depend. You won't necessarily need to include all of those, but you need a variety, not just full stops, not just full stops and commas. We need more. We need to be more ambitious than that. And finally, the grammar. We want a full range of grammatic constructions. So our subject-verb agreement, the tense is consistent, definite, indefinite articles and modality devices. So let's have a look at an answer and look how those aspects of gaining marks has been addressed. So because it's PDF, I'm going to use a blank Word document to write my answer. So let's just copy this over. Now, before you start to write your answer, you can use the plan. Okay, so we've got the question there. You can plan it. It gives you some space for planning. When you are doing your real assessment, you will use some paper. We'll give you, the people in the office will give you some paper. You can plan and refer to that plan as you write. When you write your plan, initially think about the text type you've been asked to write, quickly jot down the features so that you make sure you remember them all. And a brief plan of your structure. Remember, you've got 5 minutes. They are recommending 5 minutes for reading the question, planning and proofreading when you're finished. So not a detailed plan, a quick, brief plan, just to get in your head your ideas straight. So I'm going to copy an answer that I have already written. So a little bit different from last time. And I'm going to go through it with you and look at the structure. So on the assessment online, you will be given something like this. You'll need to put your email address in, which they have given you. So make sure you copy and paste that in, and a subject. So you'll need to format it like you would for an email. So you can just copy and paste that over, and that would be at the top of my answer. And then an email, we need to make sure we have an appropriate subject line that's clear for whoever's receiving it. And we start with salutation. Now, this is a competition. Want to make a good impression. So we've put dear, we've made it quite formal. This email, it's not to a friend, it's an entry for a competition. So it will mostly be formal, but we may have an element of informality throughout. But the majority of this email is going to be quite formal because we want to make a good impression in order to win the competition. So we've started off with the paragraph to explain what our email is, an introduction. I'm writing to apply for the Ultimate Street Party on behalf of the residents of Devon Avenue. Our street truly deserves to win this amazing opportunity, and I would like to explain why. So a good introductory paragraph, why you're writing, what you're going to do in the rest of your email. Okay. You could there improve this by using some inverted commas, because this is what the name of the prize is. So you could show the competition run, you could show the assessor that you know how to use inverted commas. Okay. So going on to our next paragraph. So we want to explain why we deserve to win. So we're keeping that in mind for as we start our answer. So always be referring back to the question to remind yourself of your task. So why does our street deserve to win? Devon Avenue is a vibrant and diverse community where residents of all ages come together to support one another. Over the years, we have faced various challenges, including the recent pandemic, which brought us even closer. Neighbours helped each other with shopping, childcare, and emotional support. Winning this party would be a fantastic way to celebrate our resilience and unity. Okay. Can anyone suggest any way I could improve that paragraph? So this paragraph here, whether punctuation or the vocabulary or the sentence structure, is there anything I could do to improve it? So if we remember from looking at the mark scheme, if we think about punctuation, we want to use a variety of punctuation. Is there anything we could change there to improve it and show that we know how to use different types of punctuation? Okay, what I was thinking was, it's a fantastic way to celebrate our resilience and unity. We could put an exclamation mark there. Now, what has been done well in this paragraph is the use of commas. Neighbours helped each other with shopping, and then we've got commas separating the items in a list. Shopping, childcare, and emotional support. Okay, so we've used our commas effectively there. We've used them to separate the items in a list, but we've also used them to show where to pause in the sentence. So we've shown that we can use commas in two different ways just in that short paragraph. So if we think of a comma as being placed where somebody would take a breath in a sentence, sometimes it helps to read it out loud. Over the years, we have faced various challenges, including the recent pandemic, which brought us even closer together. So if you think about where you might take a pause in the sentence, that would be where you add the comma. So we've got a good variety of punctuation already used in that second paragraph. So thinking all the time about how we can maximise the marks we receive. So we've started off by saying why we deserve it. Remember, we also need to include suggestions for food, drinks and entertainment. So we move on to that next. So we are now looking at this paragraph. For the food and drink, we suggest a mix of traditional and international cuisines to reflect our diverse community. Barbecue options, vegetarian dishes, and a selection of desserts would cater to everyone's tastes. A variety of soft drinks, along with some mocktails, would be perfect for keeping everyone refreshed and hydrated. Okay, so we've got some, as I mentioned, the vocabulary choices. We are going beyond just using simple language. So rather than saying a variety of soft drinks, so nobody is thirsty, we've talked about keeping everyone refreshed and hydrated. So we're using ambitious vocabulary. We are not just using simple language, because the variety of vocabulary that you use will be assessed. So we've also, rather than just a mix of cuisines, we've suggested a mix of traditional and international. And rather than just food, we've put cuisines. Okay. We have also, again, used punctuation correctly. So here we've used the possessive apostrophe. So the tastes of everybody, everybody's taste, everyone's taste. So we've shown that's another punctuation mark we've shown we know how to use accurately. Okay, moving on to our next paragraph. We've talked about food and drink. Now we're going to talk about entertainment. For entertainment, a local band could provide live music, creating a festive atmosphere. Including games and activities for children, such as face painting and a bouncy castle, would ensure that our younger residents are entertained. Additionally, a talent show would allow our residents to showcase their skills and bring the community even closer together. So on this paragraph, is there anything you think you could improve or add? Or are there any comments you have about that paragraph? So feel free to make any comments about the choice of language or punctuation, anything you might add. So you can just unmute yourself. You can't get it wrong. It's just a case of discussing it because we're doing this paper solving session. So any thoughts you have at all, this is the time to discuss them to help you when you do the assessment. No comments for this part? Okay. So we've shown here again our use of commas. We've used them to separate the items in the sentence. Sorry, we've used them to show where the pauses would be in the sentence for entertainment. A local band could provide local music, and so on. We've also used the comma to show we can write a complex sentence with a subordinate clause. So this sentence here is the one that I'm talking about. So that sentence has the subordinate clause, such as face painting and a bouncy castle. If we took that clause out, the sentence would still make sense, but it's adding additional information. So again, you're showing the assessor what you can do. that you can use different sentence structures, and you've included a variety in your text. So additionally, the talent show would allow our residents to showcase their skills and bring the community even closer together. And I'm going to add something here just to show again that I can use inverted commas and humour and the exclamation mark. So I think probably most people are familiar with Britain's Got Talent, America's Got Talent, and so on, that format of show. So just using a bit of humour and showing that I can use those punctuation, that punctuation, inverted commas, and an exclamation mark. Just something additional to add at the end there. Okay, moving on. We're going to summarise. So we've included what the question asks for, why we deserve to win, suggestions for food, drink and entertainment. So now I'm going to summarise. So a good way to start your summarising paragraph is with the words "in summary," followed by a comma. So that's a good way to start your last paragraph, in summary or in conclusion. In summary, Devon Avenue is a deserving community that has shown incredible spirit and solidarity. We would be thrilled to win this party as a celebration of our unity and strength. Thank you for considering our application. And then he's written best regards. Now, I said at the beginning, this email would have an element of formality and informality. So rather than on an email, you don't need to write yours sincerely like you would on a letter, or yours faithfully in this case, because we don't know the person's name. So you can just put a polite sign off. So I'm just going to I would leave a space between. That's not really what you've been marked on, but it just looks more how we would usually do it. So best regards, kind regards, that kind of sign off is absolutely fine here. So that's where we've got a bit of informality. We're not using that formal letter text structure. Okay, any questions about that answer? Anything at all that you want to ask or that you're not sure about? Okay, thanks, Lamont. Just put that in the chat. Okay, let's move on to our next answer then. I'll just go on to the next page. Okay, so and I'm going to just paste over our next answer. So again, we're going to look through an answer rather than me writing it, which I don't think is as helpful. So let's look at our paper again. So you've written your email, you've checked the time, and today we're right on time, 9:30. So we started just after 9. So we've spent about half the time on the first question. You need to be looking at your time. Make sure that you don't spend 45 minutes on one section and then you've not got enough time to do the next section. So it's really important skill is to keep to the time allowed. So activity 2, write an article. So straight away, You could be jotting down what are the features of an article. Again, it's got 22 marks. And let's look at the question. You read an article in your local newspaper saying that young people spend too much time on their phones, playing computer games or binge watching television, and they are only interested in pastimes that involve a screen. Write an article with your response to this argument. You could give examples of other activities that young people enjoy and describe the benefits of having different interests. Okay. And it also tells you a guideline for how many words. Now then, it will say things in the questions like you could give examples. Do that. That's what they want you to do. It's written as you could do this, but follow what they're suggesting. So we're going to write an article to say that, to counter this argument that young people are on their phone all the time and they're only interested in screen-based pastimes. And in our article, we are going to include arguments, examples of other activities. Okay, so I have an answer prepared and let's look at that. But first of all, we'll look at the mark scheme for this question. Okay, on to the last one. Let's move on. Okay, so remember, we want to achieve 4 marks. So that's what we're focusing on, the 4-mark answer. So our answer should be very detailed, communicates information, ideas and opinions clearly, coherently and effectively throughout. It fully meets the needs of purpose and audience. So it's written in an article structure and it is aware of who is going to read it. So the format, we're looking at 3 marks. It's clear. It has a clear and effective structure with an appropriate format. So how do we write an article? We need to bear that in mind. And it says here that we should have a beginning, middle and end, and headings, subheadings, maybe a strapline. It could have bullet points and so on. So the language, the register, so it's suitable for the audience and purpose. So if we think of an article, we're not going to be using informal language. It's going to be a formal piece of writing. Organisation, we need paragraphs used appropriately. Our sentence structure should include complex sentences which are constructed consistently and accurately. And organisational markers, so we could use some subheadings to add clarity. Remember, you are getting marks for your spelling, punctuation and grammar. So you need accurate spelling. So, and it suggests here specialist words, uncommon words, complex sound relationships. So basically, as I explain all of this, it's ambitious. We're not just using simple, easy to spell words. We are using some technical words, special or specialist, and some more complex to spell words. Okay. Punctuation. So again, the same as the email, a wide range used accurately. And grammar. So again, the same for grammar. It will be the same for every type of text type that you may be asked to write in your assessment. So using a range of grammar. Okay, so let's get down to the article. So we don't want to review, ignore those down the side. So challenging the stereotype, young people and their diverse interests. So that is my title. So straight away in my article, I have my title. I'm going to make it a bit bigger as well because I'm going to use subheadings. So I want to make this distinct, my the title of my article. And we've got an introductory paragraph there, so let's have a look at that together. In a recent article, our local newspaper claimed that young people spend excessive amounts of time on their phones, playing computer games, or binge watching television, suggesting that they are only interested in pastimes involving a screen. While it is true that screen-based activities are popular, this portrayal overlooks the diverse range of interests that many young people actively pursue. So it says why we're writing the article, and it also hints at what is going to follow. So looking at the diverse range of interests. So we've got okay. So yes, so that's our introductory paragraph. And then I need to make sure I'm using some features of an article to show that I know how to use these features of an article. So I'm going to use subheadings. So this is part of my structure. Contrary to the stereotype, so the stereotype that the newspaper article gave, contrary to the stereotype, countless young people engage in activities that do not involve screens. Sports remain a major pastime, with many youths participating in football, basketball, swimming, and other athletic pursuits. These activities not only provide physical exercise, but also teach teamwork, discipline, and resilience. For instance, local youth leagues and swimming clubs boast high participation rates, demonstrating a strong interest in physical fitness and camaraderie. Okay, so any comments about that paragraph? Feel free to unmute if you want to make a comment. So again, we've used different sentence structures. And a variety, a variety of vocabulary. So we're not just using simple words and sentences. We're more ambitious than that because we want to get those full marks. Okay. Okay, so we can move on and we are going to look at the arts. So I'm going to make that heading bold. So again, showing that I know how to structure an article. Many young people are passionate about the arts. Music, theatre, dance and visual arts offer creative outlets that stimulate imagination and foster emotional expression. High school bands, drama clubs and art classes are thriving, showing that young people are eager to show excuse me, eager to explore and develop their talents beyond the digital realm. These artistic endeavours encourage critical thinking and problem-solving skills, benefiting both personal development and academic performance. So we've got a mixture of sentences in this paragraph. Many young people are passionate about the arts. So that sentence is a simple structure there. And then we go on, music, theatre, dance. So if you put the commas in a list there, so we're showing that we can use commas in that way again. Music, theatre, dance, and visual arts offer creative outlets that stimulate imagination and foster emotional expression. So again, a longer, more complex sentence. Now then, here I've decided, and this is what you will possibly do when you're proofreading your work, I'm going to change this sentence. So I've got a simple sentence followed by a more complex sentence. So I'm varying the structure, and often a simple sentence is a good way to have a punchy impact, or so we definitely shouldn't only write in simple sentences, but the use of a simple sentence can have an impact to the reader. So I'm going to change this to a simpler sentence followed by a more complex sentence. So high school bands, drama clubs and art classes are thriving. So I want to make a point of that, so it's a shorter sentence. But that means I'll need to change this. So rather than showing, I'm going to put this shows that young people are eager to explore and develop their talents. Okay. So just an example there of how you're proofreading. Think about what could be improved, what could be changed. Okay. So any questions about that? Okay, so within that paragraph and in the previous paragraphs, you can see that cohesion, that we're talking about a particular element and we're sticking to that within the paragraph. So we're not starting to talk back about sport or physical activities and mixing it up. We're staying on topic within that paragraph, within that section. So we're talking about, we introduce it, that many young people are passionate, some examples of what creative outlets they might be engaged in, that clubs, classes in these areas are thriving, and what this shows. So we've got that cohesion within the paragraph. Similarly for the previous paragraphs we've looked at, and also carrying on, hopefully you'll see that as well. Okay, so moving on, another non-screen activity that young people may be engaged in, volunteering. Volunteering is another area, so with that cohesion again. By using another area, we are following on, we're showing in our writing that we are following on from what we've previously written. So there's a link there, rather than just paragraphs that are unconnected. Volunteering is another area where young people are actively involved. Many teenagers and young adults dedicate their time to community service, helping out at local shelters, organising charity events, or participating in environmental cleanup projects. These activities not only contribute to the community, but also instill a sense of responsibility and empathy in young adults. So straight away, whilst I'm reading this, I've realised there's an American spelling there, so I'm going to correct that. Okay. So again, we started off with a relatively simple sentence and then moved on to more complex sentences. And we've got that cohesion again. So what is this new area we're talking about? Some examples of what they do and the benefits. So benefits for the community and for the individual. Okay. Any questions about that paragraph? No? Okay, let's move on. So outdoor activities. Outdoor activities such as hiking, cycling, and camping are popular among youth who seek adventure and a connection with nature. Engaging with the natural environment promotes mental well-being and a healthy lifestyle, counteracting the sedentary tendencies of screen-based activities. Okay. So again, we have displayed the punctuation that we're able to use in different ways. The commas used in a list or to separate the parts of a sentence. And we've got that cohesion, the examples, that they're popular, and the benefits. And it does ask us in the question, we just look back at it, the benefits of having different interests. So let's look at varied interests. It's important to recognise the benefits of having varied interests. Physical activities promote health and teamwork. Artistic pursuits enhance creativity and emotional intelligence. Volunteering fosters a sense of community and responsibility, and outdoor adventures provide mental rejuvenation. Encouraging a balance between screen time and other activities ensures that young people develop well-rounded skills and experiences. Okay, so again, the cohesion within the article, referring back to what we've previously said, but staying on topic within this paragraph about the variety of interests, what they might be, and then the benefits. Again, we've started off with a more simple sentence and then used more complex sentences as we've followed on during this paragraph. So, and then we've got a conclusion. In conclusion, while screens are undeniably a significant part of modern life, young people today are far from being limited to digital pastimes. By acknowledging and supporting their diverse interests, we can better appreciate the multifaceted lives they lead and the positive contributions they make to our society. Okay, so again, as I mentioned previously, great way to summarise at the end. So we always need a concluding paragraph in any kind of article that sums up. So in summary, in conclusion, to summarise, start your last paragraph, your concluding paragraph with one of those options. And we've got a brief summary of what was said and what our opinion is at the end. The positive contributions and the multifaceted lives of young people. So again, we have used diverse vocabulary. We've used a variety of sentence types and structures. We've kept that cohesion. So hopefully we're going to get full marks on this section. Any questions about this answer or anything at all to do with the writing assessment? So have you both worked through the sessions for English? Have you started doing that? So in the online learning environment, you have the ability to look through the different sessions for English. You might have been to some of the sessions previously with me. Have you both started looking at that? You can reply in the chat if you're not able to use the microphone. Because that's how you will learn about the different structures that I have spoken about, and also grammar, the punctuation, spelling, and so on. Okay, Limon. So have you been able to look through the different sessions and the different aspects of the English writing, the functional skills? Have you had a look online in the online learning environment for UK Versity? Have you looked at those resources?
Yeah, I'm looking.
Yeah, so make sure that you look through them, because it's not enough just to attend this session and look at model answers. You need to be looking through the different parts of the functional skills, the English writing skills. You need to look through each part so that you understand them and are able to use them effectively. Okay, so that's what you need to do as well.
Yeah.
All right then. Okay. So if there's no questions, no comments today, then we can finish here. So thank you very much. Have a good day.
Have a good day to you. Thank you
Take
so
care.
much.
Bye.
Bye.